Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Ujjwal Singh and this is Salesforce Administrator series. So in today's video we will discuss about scoping rules in Salesforce. So before starting the video, if you like my content, do hit the like button, share it with your friends and colleagues, and do not forget to subscribe my channel. So if you want to see much more videos related to Salesforce Administrator, so you can go to this playlist Salesforce Administrator, and here you can find lots of videos related to Salesforce admin topics. Okay, so let's start. So what exactly are scoping rules in Salesforce is? So in a previous video we have discussed about the restriction rules, and in today's video we will discuss like exactly similar features with the restriction rules, that is scoping rules. So in restriction rules we have a capability to restrict a particular user to have the access to only a given sets of the records only. Okay, scoping rule is quite similar, but like scoping rules help to filters the default record visible for the user based on a specific criteria, but it is not preventing the access of the other records. Okay, so in scoping rules it filters the records. So suppose a user has access of 10 records and we create a scoping rules where we define some criteria. So now the user only have the access, like visible access to those 3 records only, but still he can access those remaining 7 records out of 10. But if we compare to restriction rules, if we create a such restriction rules, so user only have those access to those 3 records, but he can't access the remaining 7 records. Okay, so just the benefit of scoping rules is this: so we can filters the records, like the visibility of all the records can be narrowed, but still user can have the access of all the remaining records. Okay, but in restriction rules it's simply the visibility of records gets narrowed and user don't have the access to the remaining accounts. Okay, one more difference about the scoping rules is it can be applied on a both custom and standard object. But if we compare about the restriction rules can be only applied to a custom objects. We can't use restriction rules on a standard objects. Okay, so let's switch to our org and see how we can create this. Okay, so I am logging in as a different user. This user is Happy Singh, and let me log in via my user. So this is my user. So let's click on edit object. We will do this the same scoping rule on this custom detail card detail objects which we covered on our previous video. Okay, yeah, so in our previous video we have defined this data rules, in which if you can see, let's go to this rules, and this rules currently is not active. It defines like for this user can only have the access to only Tata records, like for the record whose brand name is Tata. So this user should only able to see those record for which the brand name is Tata. So let's first enable this records and let me save this. Okay, so now I have enabled this restriction rules, which says that user can only have the access to those records where the brand name is Tata. Okay, let's again go to this Happy Thing, and if I refresh this page, now you can see this user only have this record as a Tata. So he has access to this 5, 7, 12 records and where the band name is Tata. But if I can search for another record, suppose this mouth is whiskey, and let's copy this link. And if I try to open with Happy Singh user, you can see this user can't able to access this record because we have restricted using a restriction rule. Okay, now let's go again to here and let me make this as inactive. Save it. And once I made is inactive, this record is now available. So now this user have access to all those card detail records. Okay, now you can see here. So now let's go to scoping rules. So now we want to have the user only able to see Tata records, like the brand name Tata. Like he can only see these records, Tata, and this one, but he also can have access to this Hyundai, Maruti Suzuki, and other Honda records. Okay, so he only sees these Tata brand, but he can access remaining accounts also, like this Maruti Suzuki, Hyundai, and Honda records. Okay, so for that purpose, we will create the scoping rule. Let's create scoping rule, and let me rule this access. Okay, and make it as a true. I will select the user for which I want to implement this scoping rule. So let me add alias, and I will name it as @. Okay, so this is the alias name of our user. And here I will select the filter criteria, like brand name, which is this, and I will select Tata, and let's save it. Okay, so now this rule has been active, Tata plus remaining access, and let's go to our user happy things and let refresh the page. Okay, so now you can see now he has the access to all the records, like still Tata, Maruti Suzuki, Tata. And now let's see how we can use this scoping rules. Okay, so again I am logged as my user, and here car details all, and here you can see we have this filter by scope. So if we I currently it's like all details, like all the records can be accessed by the user, but if I filter it by a scope, let it do by this and save. Okay, so as I am admin and this scope is not defined for me, so I have the access to all those records. So now we have created this filter which filters the record by a scope. Okay, now let's again switch to our user here and just refresh the page. Okay, let's again refresh the page. Yes, so now you can see this user can only see those records which have a brand name Tata. Okay, this Tata. So what we have designed here, the rule is like this user can only have access to all those records for which brand name is Tata. And now here you can see for all the records, if here, or you can also see this is filtered by scope, and this user can see all those records which is for which brand name is Tata. But if we can try to open the remaining accounts, like suppose this Maruti Suzuki, yeah, copy this and paste it here, but still he can able to view this account, or he has the access to this Maruti Suzuki brand accounts. Okay, so just this the visibility of those filters or the access of visibility has been changed. So now he can only view those records which has been filtered via those scope, but still he can access those remaining accounts also. But if we compare on restriction rules, that not possible. He can only have the access to the set of records that has been defined on a restriction rules. Okay, so that how we can create a scoping rules, and that is the main differences between restriction rules and scoping rules. Okay, so that's it in this video. See you in next video. Till then, take care and bye bye.